You know that person who gets attached way too fast? Like you have one good conversation with them, maybe two, and suddenly they're sending you memes at 2 a.m., remembering your coffee order, asking about that thing you mentioned once 3 weeks ago. Yeah, that. And if that person is you, if you've ever been called too much or too intense or clingy just because you actually care, welcome. You're about to feel very seen. Because today, we're breaking down the psychology of people who get emotionally attached, the ones society calls needy. But psychology calls it something else entirely. Here's the thing. Some people can date for 6 months and still not know their partner's middle name. They're fine with that. But for you, you're already mentally rearranging your future around someone you met last Tuesday. And it's not because you're desperate. It's not because you lack self-respect. It's just your attachment system runs on a completely different operating system. Psychologists call this anxious attachment. Translation, your nervous system is wired to seek closeness as a form of safety. When you connect with someone, your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. But it also triggers a quiet alarm. The alarm that whispers, don't lose this, hold on tight. And that combination, the warmth plus the fear, that's what makes attachment feel so intense. But here's where it gets interesting. It's not random. Most people who attach quickly and deeply learn this pattern early. Maybe you had a parent whose love felt inconsistent. Sometimes they were there, sometimes they weren't. You learned that closeness was precious because it could disappear at any moment. So now, as an adult, your brain treats every connection like something fragile, something you have to protect with everything you've got. Okay, wild, right? Your clinginess isn't a personality flaw. It's a survival strategy. Your 5-year-old self figured it out and never unlearned it. And the neuroscience backs this up. fMRI studies show that people with anxious attachment have a hyperactive amygdala, the brain's threat detection center. This happens when they perceive distance in a relationship, a delayed text, a canceled plan, a tone that felt just slightly off. Your brain doesn't register these as minor social hiccups. It registers them as genuine threats. The same part of your brain that would light up if you saw a predator, that's what fires when your person seems distant. And I mean, that changes how you see yourself, doesn't it? You're not dramatic. You're not crazy. Your brain is literally working overtime to keep you safe from a danger that for you was once very real. But wait, it gets deeper. Here's what nobody tells you. People who attach deeply don't just feel more fear, they also feel more everything. Love hits harder. Joy lasts longer. A small gesture, someone remembering your favorite song or texting good morning without you texting first, that fills you up in ways most people don't understand. The same wiring that makes you vulnerable to pain, that's also what makes you capable, a kind of connection that others spend their whole lives chasing. And let's be honest, society romanticizes being chill, the cool girl, the unbothered guy, the person who can take it or leave it. But what if that chill is actually just low investment? What if caring deeply, openly, unapologetically is actually the braver thing? Now look, we have to go here for a second, because some people don't just attach, they cling, and the difference matters. Some people stay in relationships that are draining them. They are one-sided. They are quietly breaking them down. This happens not because they love the person, but because the thought of being alone feels like drowning, social anxiety, past abandonment, that depression that whispers no one else will ever want you. For them, attachment becomes less about connection and more about survival. So it's important to ask yourself, do you hold on because this person genuinely adds to your life, or because letting go feels like you disappear? Because one of those is love. The other, that's fear, wearing love's clothes. And that's a hard question, but it's worth sitting with. But for those who attach deeply from a place of genuine feeling, not desperation, not lack of self-worth, just a big, open, beating heart, they're not broken. They're just built different. They remember the little things. They show up. They text back. They make people feel like they matter because to them, people actually do. In a world that's getting colder and more disconnected by the day, being someone who still knows how to attach, that's not weakness. That's a quiet kind of superpower. psychologists who study long-term relationships actually found something fascinating. The couples that last aren't the chill ones. They're the ones who stay emotionally engaged. They notice, they care enough to fight and repair. They attach and reattach and choose each other again and again. You're not doing too much. You're doing what humans were always meant to do. So here's the reframe. You're not too attached. You're just wired for depth over distance, for presence over performance. Hit subscribe if you've ever been told you care too much. Psychologists call this a high relational sensitivity. I just call it having a heart that actually works. So if you're someone who loves hard and fast, who remembers the small details, who gets that little ache when someone takes too long to reply, you're not broken. You're just brave enough to still care in a world that keeps telling you to stop. Tell me, do you attach quickly or does it take you a long time to really let someone in? I'm curious. And if you want the psychology that most people never hear about themselves, the next video, it's going to hit you even harder than this one. Click it. You'll understand why.